Well, hello there, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. This is video 2 of 3? I think 2 of 3. Think so. What a treat. Better than Domino's. I only do 2 for Tuesday. Not me, baby. Free. Get it in you. Anyway, what am I talking about in this video? I'm talking about the gatekeepers of the Idaho 4 case. That's it, the gatekeepers. The people who are supposed to be reporters, right? And when you think about reporter, what would you expect? What would you want? What would you want from people who are classed as reporters if you could, I don't know, design your own? You know, like Build-A-Bear, but build a reporter. Where you get them and then you stuff them full of stuff and you can put like clothes on them. You can dress like little Brian Enton up in a little frilly dress. You know, that sort of stuff. What would you want? What would you want? What if you could say 3 things that you would want from your reporters that you would trust and you would watch on a daily basis? What would you want? If you say no fucking swearing, yes, I swear. I'll get loads of people commenting about it. If you don't like it, fuck off. If you want to go and watch someone who fakes it for YouTube and pretends to be all nice and rainbowish, you ain't getting that from me, all right? There we go. So get over it and stop telling me about it. I know about it. I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just not for you. Not for you. So first of all, let's look at the 3 contenders in today. And this is the problem that I have. And I want people to reach out to me down below, probably the guilters more than anything, because, look, I welcome you over. I don't care. If you're not a prick, then I'll engage in conversation with you. There's loads of people who don't agree with everything I say. I don't want or expect everybody to agree with me. But I have an opinion that I'm fucking entitled to, and I'll tell you my opinion. And some of us will be on the same page, some of us won't. And that's just the way of the world. The world would be a boring place if we all agreed. But anyway, look. So Brian Enton, to start with, this is about the Idaho crime scene body cam and interviews. And I went to the comments and I sorted by most recent. And it just so happens that the most recent comment on here hits the fucking nail on the head, really, because it says, I'm not trying to blame anyone or speak ill of anyone. I just seriously don't get why, after describing what she just described, why Dylan didn't call the police right then. Why would you just go to bed? The issue is this individual raises a very valid question, but we also know that they didn't just go to bed. We know that they didn't. Yes, there's a period of approximately 90 minutes that they go dark, seemingly to not clean up the kitchen, to go to sleep. But we also know that they spend a large amount of time, we're talking hours, trying to communicate internally and externally to the house. There was photographs, there was videos, there was job hunting, all sorts of things, but they didn't go to sleep. We don't know if they went to sleep at all. We just know that there was a period of inactivity that would then lead them to say, yeah, we then woke up at X time and then we called people to come over because we're weird and didn't call fucking law enforcement. But Brian Enton, he does a 45-minute video, and at no point does he really address any of the issues here. He doesn't raise any concerns. He doesn't ask this question. And I ask, if somebody is being true, if they're being absolutely genuine, not disingenuous, or they're not trying to push or support a specific narrative, then why would you not, just as a normal human being, say, that's a bit fucking odd, isn't it? That's a bit odd, because originally we was told that they went to sleep or frozen shock phase. That kind of explained things. That then changed, and then we was told that Xana Canodal's door was shut and they couldn't get in it, and that's why they had to call someone over, because they thought perhaps she was passed out in a room, so they had to get someone to try and force the door open. That then changed to the door was actually open and Xana could be seen from the doorway, so you could see that she was there. So that then changed. And then again, we then have that they're asleep and yada, yada, yada. And then it turns out that when all the phone transcripts come out, that as aforementioned, there's an abundance of activity that goes contradictory to they went to sleep and that was that. So, but they don't address that. They don't raise it. They don't question it. They don't push it. And the downside is, it's like this guy, Brian Enton. I know he's known for like News Nation, but this is his own personal channel, set up a few weeks ago, and he's already got 155,000 subscribers. Am I jealous? Yes, I am. Very jealous. It's taken me 3 years to get to where I am. This prick comes on air, and within 2 or 3 weeks, he's beaten me. Oh, what a bitter pill to swallow. But what's the biggest bitter pill to swallow is he's done it by talking shite and appealing to the larger group of people, the people who want to stick their head in the sand and will turn around and say, like this individual, and say to the pigs who continue to slam the roommates, I have to assume you are either very young or very old, as is a big issue on YouTube. The stupid is real. You're right, my friend. The fucking stupid is real. But it's not coming from the likes of me who look at a situation and think, well, that's fucking bizarre. You heard screams. You saw someone in your house. You're hearing people running up and down the stairs in panic, running as fast as they can. You're seeing people who don't belong in your house. You're seeing your friend laying on the floor in the fucking doorway of a room, yet you call everyone except law enforcement. And yet we are attacking some way or slamming some way the individuals who they could have just picked up the phone and called 911 like a fucking 5-year-old would. I don't understand it. And then you've got this guy who's going to be a large YouTube channel getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on a video and being able to control and pick what he says and therefore control on what a large proportion of people in the community are listening to and believing. So this is why I say, what would you want from someone who you would trust to watch on the daily when it comes to reporting crimes or other stories? What do you want from them? Because what you're going to get from this guy is you're just going to get him talking about things that go into the overall narrative that is being pushed by mainstream media. And is that what you want? And then we go over to this one here, which is Nancy Grace. So Nancy Grace, again, does exactly the same thing. Like she talked about Brian Kohberger whining about jail food, air vents, sexual harassment and what have you, and kind of seems to support that. And carries on talking about the harassment claims, constantly going on about that. And we've seen lots of things about Brian Kohberger and Nancy Disgrace's attitude towards him. But yeah, I'll probably have a listen to what she says about the footage.
Breaking news tonight: Inside Hell, HELL, horrific new body cam video emerging inside the Brian Kohberger murder scene, and
can we skip forward?
They're onto his Elantra. 10 minutes later, he's online shopping for a new car.
This is what she's talking about here, this new car. This proves my point in a nutshell. This is Cellbrite, this is. So Cellbrite have come out and done they've done another article saying that Brian Kohberger had gone on to his phone after the White Hind Elantra had been raised as an issue, and had searched. He'd got a PDF file that listed a lot of the Elantras connected to the university, and he had also gone on to potentially look at new cars because he was looking at Elantras. Now I'll turn around and say, how do you know that Brian Kohberger weren't trying to find out if he could look at who had done this crime? He's got a PDF to download all of the Elantras connected to the university, where you'd think, hold on a second, why the fuck would you even be interested in that? If you know it's yours, what interest have the other ones got to do with it? The only one you'd be interested in is you. And if you're looking at say if you're looking at sales pages that are depicting white Hyundai Elantras, for instance, that could be to look at comparables, to be looking at things that can be seen across the age, 2011 to 2015 or 2015 to 2017. Hyundai Elantra, how do you know that he weren't looking into it? We all had an interest in it. We all start, as soon as things were made public, we was all jumping all over this case and looking at it. Why would he be any fucking different? He's a criminology student. He could be looking at it no different than what we are. But Cellbright, and don't even get me fucking started on Cellbright, but she's pushing Cellbright's story, saying like that's trustworthy when they've actually made statements that are completely contradictory to Bill Thompson. Yet they fail to raise that. They fail to even mention that. But there we go. And then you've got drop dead serious Ashley Banfield, 226,000 subscribers, another one that's beating me. And what made me laugh, this hairlet, she screamed because someone was in the room. So you think, oh, she's got to bring that up, isn't she? She's definitely got to bring it up. And it's the same shit again. Literally, the opening lines of this. Listen.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious. I've got something for you today that is very mind-blowing. I'm not going to lie. For 2.5+ years, we have been...
It is mind-blowing. I'll give you that. It is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing how some of these people can look at this footage, especially around the surviving roommates and what they're talking about, and not raise any questions from it. It's bewildering how they can skate around the brutally and blatant obvious issues, but somehow just completely fucking ignore them. It's absolute madness to me.
Held under a gag order. We have been kept in the dark about everything that happened.
Kept in the dark 2.5 years. They're having a fucking laugh, aren't they? How many reports have they done claiming that they've got inside information, and how many things have been done like in the in the guise of released footage, released information, never known before, never seen before information. They haven't been gagged as shit, have they? They've been passed information and allowed it to run rampant online.
The Idaho quadruple murder, and suddenly the body cam videos have been released. Law and Crime, the Law and Crime Network has gotten their hands on some extraordinary body cam of what it was like when the police first...
Oh, get on with it. She shouldn't talk about it.
Rolled up on the scene at 1122 King Road. I'm not going to lie. I have been doing this job for a very, very long
I'm not going to lie.
time, and I rarely feel the way I felt when I saw the police show up for the first time at a story we now think we mostly understand.
I'm glad you fucking understand it. I'll tell you, the only people who understand this case are the people who have the ability to completely ignore 90% of it. They're the people who understand it. If people truly are taking an interest in it and listening to everything, then you're not going to understand what's going on here.
I get it. We still have a lot of questions. But when you see the very first moments of a story like this unraveling, where no one knows anything.
No one knows anything. That's bollocks for a start. Nobody knows anything.
The surviving roommates still don't know what exactly has happened in that house. Who's alive?
Bollocks! and again, I don't need to go much further into that, do I? The whole point, what I'm trying to get at is, this is mainstream media mouthpieces. And someone had a go at me earlier on because I said, they go, oh, I lost all respect for you because you called Steve Gonsalves a mouthpiece. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're fucking stupid, and you're stupid as fuck because you don't even understand what I'm saying. Steve Gonsalves was a mouthpiece. He was a mouthpiece for the prosecution media. He had allowed himself to be manipulated to the point where they knew that he would go out and do the rounds and talk, and he would push specific stories, specific narratives, and made people feel a certain way. People felt that Steve Gonsalves, because of how close he had information that was pertinent to the outcome of this entire case, the entire trial. They took a lot of what he said as gospel when he said about touching Wi-Fi kill kits and stuff. They fed that information to him, and that's why he felt so fucking shat on at the end of it, because he felt that he was being held in some high regard and past stuff, when in the end they just pulled the rug out from under him. He'd been used. So it wasn't trying to be a negative towards him or call him anything. He was used. That guy was used by the powers that be to do a job, and he'd done it, and he'd done it well. And that's what these guys do, and they continue to do. These are all mouthpieces for the bigger picture, the system. And if you trust the system, then you trust the system. I don't trust it. I'm one who always side-eye what I'm being told. And in some cases, it's easy to do. In other cases, it's not so easy to do. I see a lot of people who criticise this Idaho 4 case and say, oh, you're wrong for questioning things, and you're a fucker. They call you every name under the sun. But then I'll turn around and talk about something like the Sean Doherty case, where law enforcement stipulates that this individual, this young lad, executes himself, and that when you read into the facts of it, it looks like that's impossible to do, unless he does it with no fucking hands. But because law enforcement say it, people are like, well, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. But he's got parents who are connected to the Pentagon, other fucking dodgy stuff around it, but no one want to hear anything. It's so easy for people to stick their head in their own arse, turn into like a fucking little football and roll off down the road with the rest of the sheep. It's very difficult for people to actually look at something and say, something ain't right here and something should be being done. Love you all, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Mwah.